Hi, my name's Ben Grave. I'm director of Dthree Studio, part of Devono Cressa Group. We are a market-leading design and build firm here in the UK, and we specialise in office design and build in London. In response to the coronavirus, I think that certain companies will be looking to find the balance between investing in measures to make their workplace socially distance, or allow their employees to socially distance within their workplace rather, versus sort of working out whether that investment is going to be a viable long-term investment. I think there's a couple of things to consider here. Many of our employers in the UK won't be rushing their staff back to offices anytime soon. I think there'll be a gradual move to staff moving back. So I think in the first instance, what we'll see is employers actually looking to use relatively simple and cost-effective measures to ensure that social distancing is enforced within the workplace. That might be through signage or wayfinding, or simply, a green sticker on a desk that can be used and a red sticker on one that can't be used. Introducing of kind of one-way systems through the office so that people aren't congregating in corridors. I think that's what they'll do in the first term. The second thing is the kind of more medium to long-term view of whether employers feel that their workplace is safe going forwards. I think one of the things that may be stopping large amounts of investment from firms at this time is the fact that we are about to enter a recession here in the UK, and any kind of substantial investment of CapEx will be scrutinised by businesses. So we're seeing already in the market that companies that don't have to move or don't have to spend vast amounts of money on office refurbishments are likely not to until the future becomes a bit clearer. So I think we will see the implementation of technology going forwards in the workplace to help with things like social distancing, and also to avoid the amount of touching and contact that we make with hard surfaces. I think that at the moment, some of the technology may be slightly prohibitively expensive for tenants to install straight away, but it's certainly a huge talking point at the moment with a lot of our clients, from kind of simple things like doors being able to open automatically, so less touching there, speed gates and kind of turnstiles on entry to the office, can those be made to be either automatic, opened with something like a contactless element, a QR code, for instance. I think in the short term, again, clients will look to maybe use other interventions without having to replace systems at great cost. So that might be disabling speed gates initially, and having people show their passes to a security guard who's behind a screen. But going forward, certainly they'll look to implement these maybe in projects that are currently being designed or specified. And I think the other thing that we'll see is certainly the office canteen or kitchen, as it were, is a place where there's a lot of risk associated to at the moment. So whether it is how we make ourselves a cup of coffee in the morning, how people prepare their lunch if they do so, using the work kitchen, there's certainly a lot of debate on how we make that safe. So I think it's hard to make too many predictions there, but without having a kind of full-time cleaning staff on standby, as they are currently set out at the moment for a lot of our clients, it's hard to see them being used safely. So how can offices be redesigned using technology in a sort of post-COVID-19 world? I suppose there's a few different aspects that we can look at here. One would be, I guess, the technology that we're all now very comfortable using at the moment, which is video conferencing. I think it's already transformed for everyone the way that we think that face-to-face meetings could go ahead in the future. I think we won't lose that sort of physical meeting completely, but certainly unnecessary business travel can be avoided. I think this is kind of the great work from home experiment, if you like, in that a lot of businesses have gone from having 90% of their staff in offices and 10% working from home to having that flipped on its head, where you've got 10% for critical operations in the office and the other 90 of us all working from our living rooms, bedrooms, things like that. So I would say that that change has changed a lot of people's mindsets, show the art of the possible. So from that sense, an office can be set up slightly differently if we can carry out meetings in this manner. But I think in more sort of practical terms, one of the things that you'll see an emphasis on from employees is wanting to feel safe in their workplace if they are to travel and go to work. So I think one of the ways technology can help is looking at enhancing things like fresh air into workplaces and ensuring that, you know, your employers, or at least the landlords of the buildings that you work in, are providing good data on the levels of fresh air that are coming into the premises, how many people are in the premises, and how they're controlling those factors, whether it's through access control or building monitoring systems. I think what's actually within the tenant's workplace itself is almost kind of secondary in many ways. It's how we get the infrastructure safe, so that people can actually get to the offices in the first place and feel safe when they're in them. So companies can tackle people kind of congregating in areas, whether that be meeting rooms, lifts, lobbies, kitchens, I suppose in a number of different ways. We've been speaking to clients about the simple use of signage and wayfinding for spaces. So, for example, whether that is just having certain rules in place for the kitchen that people go round in a certain manner, whether it's clockwise, anti-clockwise, whether you limit the number of staff to certain areas at certain times. There's also been talk of kind of staggering people's lunch breaks, things like that. There's no question that it's going to be difficult when offices get busier and there are more people there. But I think we've already seen some of our clients start to think about who critically needs to be in the office, whether they split their staff into teams so that they don't have the whole staff in at one time. They're kind of working in smaller teams and groups and things like that. I think on the question of sort of vertical travel up and down a building, that's one that I know that a lot of landlords are looking at very closely, limiting the number of people that can be in a lift at any one time, encouraging the use of stairwells where possible, and I think sort of designating more entry and exits where at all possible to a building. So having, you know, a dedicated entrance route, a dedicated exit route. If there are more than one or two entry points, kind of opening those up and making those available. So I think it's different for every kind of building, but really we're already seeing a lot of signage go up in lobbies of buildings here in London, which are giving clear indication of how that landlord wants their occupiers to use the building in a safe manner. So I think we'll see more and more of that signage commonplace in receptions as we go forward. I think the most significant changes that will take place in office design, it's hard to sort of predict exactly what's going to happen further down the line. So I think I'll start with the easy one, which is the short term. I certainly think we won't see a rush back to the office this year. We'll certainly see employers look at their office kind of real estate, work out how they can make it safe for the short term. And I think we'll probably see, you know, in the next 2 or 3 months, probably a 30%, you know, you might see employers put 30% of staff back in offices to ensure that social distancing measures are met. We may see that increase towards the end of the year coming to Christmas, but I certainly don't think we'll be back up at 100%. We've already seen a number of very large occupiers state that they won't be encouraging staff back until next year. So I think that kind of leads me on to the sort of medium to long term, in that I think we've perhaps seen the end of the very densely occupied workspace. I think that's something that people will feel inherently uncomfortable going back to. So that may mean a reduction in the amount of kind of open plan desks that we see in a workplace. In the longer term, we might see the return of maybe a more cellularized office space. And again, I don't think anyone will be making any knee-jerk reactions about this, but I think they will, the way that offices had been going over the last 18 to 24 months with sort of increased densities, we will probably see a reversal on that. And that will be significant for the people that use the offices, and also for the spend of those offices, because either our clients are going to need more space to house their employees, or of course there will be a lot more percentage of their employees working from home. But we've all got kind of used to that, so that's potentially no bad thing. So while the future of the workplace is certainly unclear in exactly what it will look like, we certainly feel that it is here to stay in one shape or another. And if anyone would like to discuss it further or hear anything more about what we're seeing trending currently in London and with our clients, we'd be more than happy to help. If you'd like to visit Dthree Studio.co.uk, you can find out more.